G'day viewers, thank you so much for joining us. This week on the show, we're back with the off-road racing. We've got all the highlights from the ARB, Teagle Excavations, Pines Enduro 400. I'm Simon Christie, this is Life Off-Road. Let's get into the action.
Here we are in Millicent in the bottom end of South Australia for the third and final round of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Championship.
The atmosphere is building here tonight already. There's plenty of locals starting to pile in the gates to look at all the cars on display.
Teagle's quarry is abuzz at the moment. We're going through documentation and vehicle checks and safety checks, what we call scrutiny. The event has attracted 85 plus cars from all over the country. We've got a really good cross-section of cars in all classes.
The track here is very local to the town. It's only 2 kilometres out. Very good for guys that they can head back into town, get food, accommodation and a nice cool drink at the end of the day.
Five red lights will come on with the orange light. When they all go out, you go. Move while the red lights are on, it's considered a false start.
The format of the race is we'll get prologue underway at 10 o'clock. After prologue, we'll run short course laps in heats around the quarry. Prologues will determine the start order for the heats.
So they send the heats of vehicles out in around about 8 vehicles per heat, and that time actually goes towards their race time.
85 cars here is a good number. The last round at Gundah Windy had 91, so this is right up there with the number of cars.
Every class is represented, from unlimited buggy right down to class 66. This being the final round does show the strength of the championship. It's going to be very close, very good racing all weekend. The Pines is a very different track compared to other races. The other events are very dusty, rocky, but this one is very smooth, dustless, can be a little bit muddy. We are expecting some rain, but that will actually settle it down and the guys will love every minute of it.
It's a fantastic viewing facility here. Hopefully we'll get several thousand people out from within Mount Gambier, Millicent and the surrounding areas for a great weekend of off-road racing.
I reckon it's a good family sport. A lot of people probably say motorsport can be dangerous, but only as dangerous as you make it. My navvy is my middle daughter, Tamara. She's been riding with me for a few years now.
It's really the most fun weekend that we have of the whole year. We really look forward to the Pines Enduro. There's the longest straight of all the tracks that we race on all year, so it's really the speed this weekend that draws a lot of people.
The championship is very tight at the moment. We've got Talbot Cox out of Townsville leading by 1 point from Aaron Havey, the local South Australian.
So it's right down to the wire. Whoever finishes in front of the other will win the championship.
It's great to be down here. I've never raced this race before, so come down to see if we can have a win down here and see what happens at the end of the weekend.
The track this year looks really, really good. Just it's high speed, it's more flowing, I think, than what it has been in the past. It's a hard one to read until you just sort of do the laps and see how you go. A real driver's track.
The prologue was a tightly contested competition between Aaron Havey and Greg Gartner. They were separated by 0.14 of a second, which over 6 kilometres in an off-road race is pretty close.
off-road racing is all about going fast, and there are plenty of things you can do to soup up your own four-wheel drive, like a throttle controller. Let's find out more.
Sometimes called pedal chips, throttle controllers are a simple plug-and-play device that fits in line with your vehicle's accelerator pedal. It allows the driver to adjust the throttle response to suit the conditions. Modern ECUs are programmed with a degree of lag. A throttle controller gives the driver the ability to control and reduce that lag as required. This will increase the drivability of the vehicle, has the potential to increase economy, and in some situations make the vehicle safer to drive. There's plenty of throttle controllers on the market. Do your research, make sure you buy from a reputable company and a quality product. It's not going to damage your vehicle and leave you stranded.
The short course is always just a ball out there, door-to-door racing.
30 seconds apart, 2 cars at a time, 14 cars to a heat. The racing was very close, very spectacular. The Pines is very different as well. It's not just the fast guys that can win. Anyone can win this race, you know, Class 10s, even a Class 2. It's very hard on vehicles out in the soft sand, very hard on gear, very hard on the driver as well.
The side-by-side action definitely puts a bit more intensity into it. It's just crazy.
You cop it from every angle with mud flying everywhere. It's just fantastic, so everybody loves it.
The spectators here had a great time, treated to a couple of little mishaps out there.
With the wet weather coming around, it's real slippery and it's pretty hairy. It's either cars tank slapping sideways in the wet or you're getting trashed around from the rough ground.
We probably had another 5 to 8 mil of rain, and that just put a complete curveball because we had to adjust ourselves, put it that way.
To facilitate accurate timing, we fit electronic timing transponder to all cars. We will see several cars possibly on the same second, all separated by thousandths of a second. During the fifth heat of the short course, we had an incident with one of the cars. The driver is okay. The thing about today's modern cars is they're very, very safe. The occupant cell is a very safe structure. Richard was taken to hospital for scans as a precaution, but he hadn't lost his New Zealand sense of humour. As he was being put in the ambulance, he said, "Make sure they don't scratch my car. I'm the only one allowed to scratch it."
We qualified 7th, which was probably a little bit further back than I wanted to, but seeing we haven't been here before, and they lined up and did the short course racing, the 4 laps. I'm sort of surprised myself how far we got up, but we got up to 3rd, so that was good.
13th in prologue, and then we stepped up to 5th place after the short course, so we're pretty happy with that.
They've got a major job of cleaning the cars, obviously getting all the mud off, but then they'll go over the vehicles and make sure everything's safe, all the wheel nuts are tight, all the tyre pressures are good, oil levels, that sort of thing, and just ensure that they're good for the 400 Ks tomorrow.
You must remember that today's today and tomorrow's the main game, so we've still got a truck and it hasn't got a bent roof or a bent roof number, so I'm pretty excited about that. One mistake and you put it into the trees. You've got no runoff here, the runoff is trees.
We need to finish this race. We just want to have as good a run as we can, meet the checkered flag.
We try our best not to hold everybody up. You spend a fair bit of time looking in your mirrors, but here it's awesome. Fingers crossed, we make it to the end.
I've driven between pine trees before, normally in a car, sideways. We're in a buggy this time, strapped in, so I feel safer.
The track will be hungry, it'll be really horsepower hungry. We'll just play the game carefully on the first lap and then flat strap, I'd say.
They do a reverse grid here. On Sunday, the fastest car starts last, so there is a lot of overtaking.
Probably for this type of track, it's a good idea in reverse order, especially when it's not dusty. The track gets a bit more defined before the fast cars get there.
Through the pine forest is a bit daunting for some of them because the trees are right there and you're doing high speeds down the pine breaks. But the beauty of this one, there's very rarely dust and overtaking is not a problem. You can race wheel to wheel, K after K, and it's good fun.
You've got to be very cautious on the first lap or two, and once we settle in, we'll be pushing pretty hard. We really need to be full of fuel, which sometimes is a disadvantage.
It is a long event, very heavy sand out there, so it's an engine killer we've seen in the past, so we're going to just be making sure we get to the finish lines. If you don't finish, you can't win anything.
Out in the pine forest there, you've plenty of grip, the sand's good, it's got plenty of hook up.
The sandy country wasn't as slippery, just as well, because if it was as slippery as down the flat sand, I don't know how we would have done a lap at all.
That's flat. Hit a tree stump.
Having fun?
So much fun, I just love it. What's wrong with you guys? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, open your eyes, that's good.
And we're doing the old run no spare, because we'll be right.
Yeah, you'll be right, nothing will happen. It'll be okay.
Brand new tyres, they couldn't go flat.
No.
We won't be pushing too hard, because when you push, you make mistakes. We're happy just to keep our noses clean. We'll go as quick as we can comfortably and just see where we are at the end of the weekend.
Different kettle of fish this morning. We really got to look out for the big guys, going to come past pretty quick.
We always use our Mickey Thompsons, especially on this car. It seems to have a lot more traction, weight distribution's a bit better. They do a really good job.
The MTZ just hook up fantastic in the sandy and the muddy stuff. A couple of slippery corners people warned me about, stopped a lot better than I expected, to be honest, so yeah, blown away with them.
That clay wet stuff we did have an off and almost put it in, so we actually slowed up a bit and decided to get it home.
Whether you're off-road racing or out on the weekend for fun with mates, recoveries are a big part of four-wheel driving. Next up, we find out what you'll need in a basic recovery kit.
Recovery equipment is essential, and the snatch strap is an essential piece for your recovery kit. Things to look for in a snatch strap: to ensure you have a quality product are reinforced eyelets to properly protect the end of the strap. Double stitching through the end piece of the strap. You also need the proper certification. When using a snatch strap, you'll also need to use good quality bow or D shackles when attaching to a vehicle. We also highly recommend using a recovery dampener or blanket in case of a shackle coming loose. Another great accessory is a drying bag. You can throw this in the back of the tub, the strap will dry out and it will also be protected while travelling on your trip.
When we kicked off this morning, it was beautiful sunshine, it was about 12 degrees, it was quite pleasant. But as the day progressed, the showers came in and I think we got down to 4 degrees at one stage.
The pines can shade out the rain a bit, but when you have all that rain, it becomes unpredictable. So anywhere on the track can just catch you out. Look, it's pretty atrocious when it's wet like this, and this black mud out here, it gets chopped up, but you just don't move in it very much.
Today has been horrific, intense, extreme. We've had rain, we've got mud, we've got slush.
As the showers came through, it got boggier and boggier and there was a few vehicles stuck out in the track. In the stadium here was the challenge for everyone to get around just to get over the finish line.
It was pretty obvious after the break there that was just a survival to the end. Any corner, you could have been your car at any moment. It was just to get it to the end and get it home in one piece. This stuff down in here on the flats, man, that was just chaos.
Very high attrition here between the guys actually running into the trees, tearing tyres apart as they hit tree stumps, tearing parts off the buggies. It's a very, very tough race, and especially on equipment. Poor guys that drive out there in the buggies with no windscreens. I don't know how they do it.
I've been hanging it on all the buggy drivers that I know, going up giving them cuddles now while they're dry, because they're not going to be dry later on.
I just couldn't see anything. My visor had scratches all over it from the first 3 rounds. It's pretty tough seeing out there.
I have to be very quick to pass a rag, otherwise I get a big tap on the knee.
Started the day off with ARB there.
Keeping with Talbot pretty comfortably.
Got him on the line, which was good. Spent the first 3 laps in front of him.
And then the last section there, just absolute deluge and rain and mud. Push hard all the way through to the end, and whatever happens, happens.
At the end of the day, it was Aaron Habe who came out on top.
I think the last 3 or 4 corners I couldn't see anything, so lift the visor up and get mud in my eyes and everything like that.
Ended up 13 minutes in front of Greg Gartner.
Thank you. Second, we were running third for a while, and I think Talbot had some problems, so we're lucky to come into second place by 57 seconds.
And Talbot Cox, he's finished in third.
That was no doubt the toughest race I've ever done. Yeah, I haven't raced in anything as wet and as tricky as that ever before.
That means Aaron Havey will have taken out the 2019 ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Championship.
Anyone who made the end of that race, just to finish that race, that's an astounding effort.
Huge thanks to ARB, Karcher, Mickey Thompson Tyres, PWR Performance Radiators and Red Oak for their support of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Championship. I'm Simon Christie. You've been watching Life Off-Road. Tread lightly, keep it safe, play hard. We'll see you next week.